Mercury, Hermes to me, messenger of God Almighty.
What need have we of a flitting, flickering breeze of a girlish boy to attend and deliver those messages, too rich and ephemeral for mortal ears to hear?
That's just it. The flit, flit, flit of one whose work will never be quit. For the tongues change as the days change, so too the tools and the spools of yarn to tie a bow around a fable. Let us be able, the mind must be watched. For what is Mercury if not mind? How do you think? What mechanics run your mental miasma? What mind-forged manacles hold our new century in shackles? Flit, flit. It is oh so quick. Mercurius, he or she, the androgyne, darts to and fro. It sets the nerves on edge. It is our very nervous system incarnate. The brave little one, dancing so close to our father's sun, never straying too far. Give, 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 take, 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 the lord of copper and all coinage, tithing and conniving, the neutrality tinged with hue of fiendy foes, or the mellow genius. Marvellous gift the mind is, to discern, interpret, calculate, litigate and placate. And then those glamorous fools who use it for music and perceiving the divine, who gift it back as sweetly as songbirds, who are piecing it all together through lyric and strong words, tricky trap of universal hilarity, mirroring, gleeful, the pitfalls of humanity, human errors, as we stumble and learn, taking turns to be humble and bumble through digital dilemmas of the soul, tracking this route towards whole, as the heart yearns, Mercury unfurling life as a fern, seeing patterns, pretty patterns, lighting lanterns as it flits through the details loosely harnessed, and on course this worthy servant wants no more nor less than to play, investigate, and convey. Come with me and serve yourself heartily.
Hello, welcome to the Ineffable Else. Welcome if you're new here, you're very, very welcome indeed. This is the final video in our exploration of Mercury, the planet closest to the Sun, the smallest planet that whizzes around, appears to go retrograde several times a year. Here I'm exploring Mercury in Pisces, and this will also apply to you if you have Mercury in the 12th house or Mercury conjunct with Neptune. Mercury is a fast-moving, thoughtful, intelligent little fellow, and Pisces is extremely intelligent in quite the opposite way. It is supposedly the antithesis of that very Virgo way of behaving. With a Pisces mind, things can often get foggy. It can often be difficult to understand what's going on, because you can understand things in a very different way from how most experience and process thought. You think more in terms of images, you think more in terms of memory, sensual, sensory memory, and less in terms of facts and figures and digits. If you have Mercury in Pisces, your Sun will also be either in Pisces, in Aquarius, or in Aries, so 3 very different signs. If you find that you have a Aquarius Sun and a Pisces mind, you can infuriate yourself because there is a certain feeling of disparity between a sense of self that's very orderly and very together and organized and in control, and then a mind which is really able to tap into what's happening with absolutely everybody else. And this is the key. This is the key to bringing those two things into harmony, because once you can tap into how other people are thinking and feeling, then you are more able to take control of a situation, and that's not a bad thing. So using that very empathic style of mind where you can literally hear other people's thoughts and use that to your advantage, and hopefully the advantage of the wider whole. The problems occur when there is a fighting between something that's very logical and straightforward, and something which is very fluid and very dynamic and always changing. You're dealing with water, in this case with a mercurial Pisces. Very flowing, fluid way of thinking, and definitely not too much holding on to concepts. Extremely easy to let go of the past. Where in Aquarius, Mercury, it really does the work to throw away the past and throw away that which doesn't work. Pisces just isn't holding in the first place, so things just slip through. And in the lower sense, it can mean a lack of focus, a lack of time management, a lack of organizational skills. So it's important to understand that you have Virgo somewhere in your chart, even if you have no planets there. It's important to engage with this archetype and to help yourself come into more of a balanced place. I'm not just here to tell you, oh, you're a dreamer, oh, you're, no, you can really bring yourself more into alignment, and not by any kind of like really severe forcing of yourself, but just kind of gently encouraging yourself to form habits, because habits are possible for everyone. So one of these things that I recommend would be to get yourself an agenda. Here's me, the Sagittarian. An agenda such as this, which is very, very useful to keep on top of things and just keep it your habit. As I would also suggest for you to journal, to really see how you feel over time. Sometimes it can be difficult to have an opinion, and really Mercury is very much about what is your opinion, where do you stand on this, and how do you communicate this to others. And the way to find that out is to really spend time alone. Like, listen to the people, listen to them talk, listen, take it in, and then sit, meditate, spend time alone, and see how much you even remember. See how much really even hit home for you, because you're very impressionable and can be very impressed by things. But actually, it can just be a reaction more to the energy behind the person. Wow, they were enthusiastic and they really knew what they were talking about. But has any of it actually sunk in? Has any of it really come home? It's a wonderful thing, really, to not be bogged down by concepts and not be so attached to a particular concept, ideology. Of course, there's also a tendency with this sign to desperately want that and try hold on to something, and it will just slip through your grasp. It's much better to be able to observe the needs of the day. And this is that wise grandmother quality that can come out with Pisces, which is all-knowing. And it's not all-knowing because it's read all the books. It's all-knowing because it's been there and it's experienced absolutely everything. It's been done the full 360-degree turn, and therefore it's really the person to go to understand things on a deeper level from everyone's perspective. It's not enough of our leaders are Pisces, because not enough of our Pisces types are really brave in knowing and expressing what they know. There can be an extremely creative side of this, and then that comes out because there's like an emotional intelligence with any Pisces placement that is uncanny. It's everything that all humanity experiences is able to be channeled and felt through one being. And here, with it being in your mind and your expression, how do you communicate how everyone is feeling? This is the 12th house after all, so this is universality and what we're all going through. Essentially, I'm asking you to forget yourself. I'm asking you to forget yourself within all of this. Firstly, you need to find yourself. Go to your sun, go to the rest of your chart, and really find who you are without any strings attached to any other human being or concept. Or are you owned by anyone, by the way? Does anybody owe you? Are you a slave? Are you living under someone else's roof, which is not your own? Do you have autonomy? You're capable of having that autonomy. How comfortable are you with being under someone else's roof, under someone else's thumb? Is it an arrangement that has been properly thought out, talked about, expressed, or did you just fall into that situation? This is a place of situationships, of course, but they just seem to have happened, and it's like, because of a lack of real comprehension of time and space, there's not really a telling of where it's come from or how long it's been happening for. And when did I agree to this? So it can be really, really important to look back on your own journals and look back on your own past actions and behaviors to see what your thoughts are, what your values are, what your core principles are, and then know which areas you're really willing to shimmy around and kind of change, whatever, it's no big deal. And which areas are absolutely no, I'm putting my foot down. And I will not compromise on this, and get used to saying no. Get used to saying no or give me time. I need time. You have plenty of that you can take to make a decision, because decisions definitely come into it with a mercurial placement. When I ask you to forget yourself, it's in the sense not of forgetting yourself at the mercy and hands of other people, but in terms of the messages that you receive, the information that you get, that feeling of unity and universality, which often will lead you into the hands of others. Use that just to tap into, well, you don't need to tap in, it's just there. The thoughts and the feelings and everything that you're hearing and having flow through you, know that is the collective wanting to be expressed through you. It's almost as if you need to kind of get that out the way, recognize the parts of it where you are just as affected as the rest of the world, and then take a step beyond that to this kind of transcendental place where you know that I'm not just that. I'm not that which is accumulated inside of me, which is accumulated in my mind. You are telepathic. I mean, this is a painful thing to experience, constantly being able to hear other people's thoughts, constantly being able to know what people are thinking, and then that sense of paranoia which can ensue, because most people's minds are completely crazy. Most people's minds, they can't hold on to a solid trajectory without getting emotionally triggered or wrapped up or taken off course, never mind all of the other substances that people may have in their systems which cause, and hormones and different things which cause us to go off in different directions. So when you're tapping into that, you end up feeling like the crazy one, when really you're the one who kind of is beyond that. You have that potential to be really beyond the need of those things. That's why it's always so tragic when a Pisces type will go down the route of substance abuse, and it was always abuse because you don't know what's too much or too little. So how much are you up in the mind, away with the fairies, and how much could it really be brought back down into the body, and that wisdom of the universe can be brought internally. So it's not just you're feeling the pain and the suffering of the universe, but you're really feeling like, oh my goodness, the wisdom of all my ancestors just passed right through me, and I could feel the sensation of giving birth to a child. I could feel the sensation of being killed in a war with a sword. I could feel the sensation of being a king. And this isn't some kind of past life thing, but this is just a deep connection with the fabric of humanity, and it has very little to do with anything conceptual. It's entirely experiential, and it's entirely of the dream world, which brings me to Neptune. If you have Neptune conjunct with Mercury, it's like, wow, Mercury is getting schooled. If Mercury is Hermes, who's delivering messages to and from God to the humans, then one of the gods here is Neptune, who's just this deep space dreamer. Think of how cold and how kind of barren and difficult it would be for a human to exist in this place. But you go there every night. This is your undercurrent of your mind, and this is where your dreams take place. Do you write down your dreams? Do you remember your dreams? Have you shamed yourself for your dreams over the years? I'm very curious if your sun is in Aries and you have a Mercury in Pisces. That kind of dichotomy between a sense of soul that is very self-based, very individualistic, and then a mind which is very tapped into the rest of the universe. Well, it's always the best combination, I think, for me, but how well do you allow yourself to flow with that? And if you have Aquarius as your sun, then can there be an air of compassion for the collective that can come in beyond just the very kind of practical and societal progress that you can see there needs to be, can you also tap into that emotional state of, it's not this surface superficial level of emotions that perhaps a Cancer would experience, the tides going in and out. This is deep down in the deepest depths of the ocean. You know, it's terrifying. We know more about space than we do about the deepest parts of the ocean. And you yourself are so much water. Oh my goodness, to know that there's all the particles of water in the whole of the earth have at some stage come to the surface, evaporated, joined the precipitation cycle, and then been dropped back down on the earth and into the very air that you breathe, in the very atmosphere, in the very water that you drink, in the H2O that you take into your body. And that information that we all have, that we're in denial about, of our earth. It's also, I've said this before about Pisces placements, that you're not necessarily here to be seen now. Your work and your efforts hopefully will get seen further down the line. No promises though. Very easily good and humble work gets thrown away or gets reclaimed as being someone else's work. So you need to accept the fact you're not doing this for any praise here and now. You're not going to necessarily be recognized within your own lifetime. If we look back on slavery in all of its forms, we feel disgust, we feel shocked that humans could buy and sell one another, and just the lack of humanity that displays. If we fast forward into the future, you imagine even something like planned obsolescence, the fact that you buy something and it has a life expectancy of a few years because of the market needing you to buy something again. Just imagine then perhaps environmental consequences that are then going to be hitting, of course, the lowest and the worst off people in our world as a result of this. It's that kind of like more than seven generations thinking that you're capable of, that other mercurial placements just don't have the time or the energy for, but you're able to kind of zone out and just go, whoa. It's like, dude, kind of goes there, it goes right there and right down to the very personal physical experience of someone living in the future, as much as you're capable of having that compassion for someone from the past as well. It's a lot, and I'm sure you're very tired. So the important thing is to really limit the people that you surround yourself with who are detrimental. And this can even just be someone with some pretty heavy energy, you know, they're not a bad person, but for you, they could just be kind of taking you away from your center or giving you a set of beliefs that it's like, oh, good. I'll just focus on those ones. I won't tap into my unique inner gifts for exploration of the universe. I'll just accept these kind of prescribed notions that don't make a lot of sense for me, but you know, I can kind of see where they're coming from because I'm Pisces Mercury. I have the 12th house knowledge and therefore compassion and empathy for anyone. Instead, maybe surround yourself with nature, surround yourself with things that are not so frequently changing as other human minds really are, and then surround yourself with enough time. Give yourself time to rest, really rest properly. And this is something fundamental as blocking out your eyes when you sleep. Wear an eye mask, make sure there's no external noise, wear earplugs if you have to. Just really let yourself go into that place, because how are you going to tap into your dream world if halfway through your dream you're getting the sound of some neighbors screaming? That's going to come in and you'll identify with it. It's a big thing to do with identification with Pisces, because you just identify with everything. It's like, oh, that's me, oh, that's me, oh, that's me, that's me. And that's just a human habit, you know, that can be broken, and instead it can be that's part of me in a deeper level, you know, in a sense of everything's alive and we share this type of energy of consciousness. But it's not like, oh my god, I am that that spoon. I am that, oh my god. I am that dog that's suffering. I am the suffering of every human being on earth. It's just too much. It's just too much. So allow yourself space and forgiveness, and what a wild ride that you have going on inside that no one even knows about. So allow yourself to clear the fogginess. Do use the necessary tools. There are many now at your disposal. And yes, contact me if you'd like to have a reading. You can go to ineffableelse.com. Send me a message there. Please do subscribe as well and leave a comment. Thank you so much. It's the end of the Mercury series. Goodbye.